You know, I have oldami and a few other species of bamboos that I've harvested. I've been stowing them up, and you can see I got quite a few canes. I erected this in my box because I want to do 4 tomato plants at 24 inches apart, and I thought this was worthwhile, and so I'll just show you. It's really sturdy. So I used 8 canes. You see up here I just put a wire through the poles. That's where you're going to get your rigidity. It's very rigid. The canes are probably 6 inches down, but by using this wire, and I'll show you the technique in just a moment, it really makes this firm. Okay, so I've got my tomato plants in, and I'm going to go ahead and come up 10 inches. I'm going to mark 10 inches, you know, on each pole. There's 10 inches, so I'm going to put a hole there. I'm going to put a hole here, and more or less there. There's my mark there. I'm going to go sideways. There we go. My mark's there. I'm going to come through here. I'm going sideways because I'm stringing that way. Okay, so you get the idea. This is just 0.065 weed whacking string I'm going to use. You know, it lasts a long time. It's really strong. So here's the 2 end strings, and I'm just going to tie a simple knot. Nice and tight. Probably do 5 knots. This stuff is pretty rigid. Pair of pliers. Give it a nice tug. That should do it. Okay, so I got my first hoop on, and I'm going to hoop them up 10 inches all the way up, and I'll go ahead and show you the finished project. You know, if you're looking for pure beauty, this is not what it is, but it is pretty effective. I'm going to run 2 strings from here to here so that they have something to fall in on. And these are at the right spacing, these tomato plants, in case you're wondering. The recommended spacing is 24 inches. And they're pretty much there. All the holes that were drilled were with a 1/8 inch wood drill bit. These canes were drilled with 1/8 inch holes, and the wire, 14 gauge galvanized wire, was threaded through each one of these. Once I made the entire cane penetrated with the wire, I twisted it, and then I had the extra wire and I came back around and twisted it again. So if you see this on the outside, it's because that's the second wrap. Not necessary, but I had the extra wire and I said, I'll go ahead and do that too. And boy, I'll tell you, this thing is so sturdy, it vibrates when you touch it. It's not going anywhere. It's holding up well. And let's go check for some fruit. Got a lot of buds, looking real good. Tomatoes, more tomatoes. I don't know if you can see that. There we go, more tomatoes, looking good. These are about 3/4 inch in diameter bamboo. I've made these marks here to drill at it's about 7 inches. It is actually 7 inches, but that's about where you want to be, 7 or 8 inches. And I'm going to be using a 1/8 inch wood drill, and the wire I'm going to be inserting into these holes is 14 gauge galvanized wire. It's a pretty common wire, easy to pick up at a hardware store. So we're going to go ahead and drill these holes out. Okay, so I've got my holes drilled, and I'm going to need to thread the wire. Let's go ahead and do that. So I've got the wire in. I'm not going to snug these up. I'm going to do that down there, but I'm going to get them close. And there we go. And I'm saving enough wire so once I spin this, I can come back around and just do another one tighter, and I'll show you down here. I'm going to go ahead and set this up for my cucumbers. The total length of these bamboo are 4.5 feet, so it should rise up about 4 feet or so once I stick them in the ground. So let's go ahead and move on with that aspect and get them installed down in my garden box. Here it is as it sits, and I want to show you this. I have not tightened that wire up yet. I'm going to go ahead and push this in place. Go down about 6 inches, and I'm down. I want to show you the top. It's still loose. See how loose it is? The top is still loose. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up. Looks pretty good. I'll do this hand tight first and pull really hard. And that feels really snug to me. Push down a little bit and come in with a pair of pliers and twist it tight. Get it nice and snug. I'm getting it very, very snug at this point. It's putting a lot of pressure on the bamboo, and that's a good thing. So feels good to me. It's going to hold the cucumber plant, and I'm coming around to wrap it again without going into the hole. And I'm going to get this wire really, really tight, and that will give it security. And I have a bonus. I have some left over, enough to do 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do a third wrap, and I'm done. I'm done. Feels good. It's nice and tight. Pulling it real tight. So you can see that's fairly snug. And I'll show you how easy it is to slip this through the hole. Goes right through, and you're through. Very easy to do. There it is, completed. If you're wondering what the terracotta pots are with the white corks, they're called ollas and are used to conserve water in my garden. I'll put a link in the description on how to make them, and a second link on how I use them in my garden. Thank you for watching.